Okay, let's get this done. We are locked and loaded and we are coming at you live, or at least I am tonight. Just looking at the time. A little bit of a late stream here tonight. It's the 7th of July, Monday, the 7th of July, 2025, and it is 9:30. 9:30. I was going to do the stream at about 7, and then I thought, no, I'm not going to bother. Then I thought 8, no, 9, and here we are. It's 9:30, and here we are. So we're live anyway. Got a few videos that I've seen tonight that I wanted to talk about. Dogman Vic says, good evening, young man. Well, good evening to yourself. Very decent of you calling me a young man as I tootle through my 50s, but I'm here anyway. Cara says, hi, Rick. Hello to you also, Cara. Hi, Rick. Great to catch you live. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I will do my best. Bikey says, Paul Myris. Well, Bikey, you too. It's all good at my end. Kieran D says, hi, all. Hello to you all too. This is totally unplanned. I do have some videos that I want to look at as well, though. Tonight, one about Philip, my friend Philip Dwyer, who was in court today in Ennis, and he was in on a charge of trespassing for going to a hotel and trying to get some footage, as he does, about what's going on in there. And he was hauled into court and found guilty of trespass, I understand. So I was messaging him earlier. He gave me a little bit of detail on it. He has subsequently put a video up that I'm going to play with you, and the legendary John Wilson from County Cavan moved all the way down, or travelled all the way down from Ennis this morning to stand in solidarity with Philip, and we're going to get a video with both of them giving a breakdown on what transpired, both in the courtroom today and also at the hotel in question that led to Philip's conviction. Looking at some of these, Dogman Vic 62. You're only getting warmed up. Only getting warmed up. Digital Punk says hello, sir, and everyone. Scooby is beaming in from Geordieland. Welcome, Scooby. Damien says Ireland first. Robert Bell, hey Rick, did you see that monstrosity of a monument that got erected in Drogheda? Yes, I did. I did, and I'm going to try and do a, how would you say, like, I wouldn't say a documentary on Drogheda, but there's a guy that I met down at the protest last Saturday, very nice chap indeed, and I'm going to try and get talking to him again on air as an interview for my channel, but also maybe do a little tour of Drogheda and see what's going on the ground down there. But yes, if you haven't seen it, check out Drogheda or Drogheda and see what they've erected in there in the how would you say, under the auspices of bringing the community together. They've erected this horrific statue that's steeped in Celtic mythology. Apparently the goddess of the River Boyne, wrapped around a post with two supposed duck heads or swan heads on top of it. It looks like, if you've ever seen the movie Conan the Barbarian, there's an evil snake cult in that, and they have these two snake heads that are intertwining and touching like this. So yeah, they've stuck that up in Drogheda, and I don't know, some lady was on as a spokesperson. I think she was an African woman, and she was telling us all about how wonderful it was, how they'd commissioned this world famous sculptor, highly respected sculptress, and she's been doing the necessary, if not the obvious, down in Drogheda. Come on, says Terry the Racing Badger, 102 in chat and 24 likes. Yeah, that's absolutely disgraceful. If you're listening to this live stream and you haven't hit the thumbs up button, shame on you. Although, probably the reason for that is there's a lot of people listening on or watching on their TV. One thing I've noticed about the analytics to this channel is about half the people that watch YouTube, at least my channel anyway, do it on the TV. So I'm not sure if you can hit thumbs up buttons or thumbs down buttons or share buttons, or even leave a comment if you're watching on the TV. So if you are, well and good. If you're not, don't lose too much sleep over it. But yeah, don't be afraid to share the stream out and hit the like button as well. Hi, Rick says, patriotic Irish mammy. Hi to you also. Hope you're having a good night, whatever you're doing. Dogman Vic says, it's an Islamic sculpture. Yes, they claim it's not, that the crescent moon and star is actually representative of Droghed's football team, which I think it is to a degree. And apparently there's been other commentary that have seen that in the time of the famine, that food aid was sent to Ireland from Turkey, possibly from the Ottoman Empire. I don't know, but I've seen that around somewhere. So that's why they're alluding to the fact that they use that symbolism on the football strip. They're claiming that that's also in line with the statue. However, if you look at it, and I don't have a picture of it because I wasn't planning on talking on it, but it's tilted slightly. It looks more like the crescent moon and star that you would see maybe sitting on top of a mosque. That's just what it looks like to my eyes. So Shamrock Sean, I'm going to actually pick up on this one. Shamrock Sean says, did anyone see the protest on the M50? I've actually got a little video clip of that one, Sean. So I'm going to show that. That was a drive slow protest with the residents in and around Sagart to do with the sale of the Citywest Hotel to turn it into that iPass village or iPass town, not an iPass centre, an iPass village or town. So yes, I've got a little bit clip of that one coming up. Heard about the girl on the news whose mother's grave was smashed up in Sagart 2. Disgusting. No, actually, I haven't seen that one, but I have seen a lot of videos of people that are, how would you say, having leisure time in graveyards around Ireland, picnicking on the graves, just chilling out, sitting on gravestones and headstones. Very disrespectful, but no, I haven't seen that particularly story about the girl's mother's headstone. What else have we got here? Someone in Germany, I missed that comment initially. So if you're in Germany or if you're tuning in from Germany, you're very, very welcome. Leave a message just for my curiosity in the live chat. Let me know where you're listening from. I know there's a lot of people listening in from Ireland and also people from across the UK. But if you're listening in from further afield, please let me know in the live chat. Hi all, can someone from outside of Tralee, we do exist. Where's this comment here? Yep. Hi all, can someone from outside of Tralee, we do exist, swamp with migrants. Why not even one protest here in this town? I can guess why. Can anyone else? Well, but 21, that's a good question. Why not? Why have protests not been arranged? Here's the thing. A lot of these events that are being held in various towns and villages, there's so many people coming from outside of the towns and villages or arranging them. In some cases, not all cases, but in some cases. So I would say, why not one protest here in the town? I would have to say because no one in your town has stepped up to organize it. For whatever reason, maybe everyone's looking around looking for someone else to do it, and not everybody is an organizer. I'm not having a go at you at 21. I'm just saying the reason there's no protests in Tralee is because there must not be an appetite for them. or no one's prepared to actually step up, put their name out there, put their head above the parapet, and arrange it. And if they did that, I'm sure some people would come to it. How many? I don't know, but I'm sure some people would come to it. And if it was successful or if it was well organized and ran, I'm sure more people would get in behind it. So maybe that's the reason. In fact, it is the reason. It's because nobody's organized one. I can guess why can anyone else. So I don't know what your thoughts on that are. If you want to organize a protest, there's nothing stopping anyone from organizing a protest in any town. Then when you've it organized, you publicize it. You publicize it well on all the social media platforms, well in advance. You try and get some support in for that, and then you build on it. Okay. So that's how it's done. It's as simple as that. Welcome, Patrick Spillane from Mallow, County Cork, all the way down at the bottom of the island. You're very, very welcome. I'm sure Tralee had good ones a couple of years ago, says Big Bass Bomb 88. Indeed, Jake McCready says he's tuning in from Derry. We have migrants all over the town, also in hotels, etc. Yeah, all around the border, Strabane, Derry, Armagh, Portadown, Newry. Newry's now so-called sanctuary city. Yeah, it's encroaching further up, further and further north. No two ways about it. Lizzie says, I'm going to the GPO tomorrow at 12:30, and then march on to the Doll, says Lizzie. So if you have any details about that one, there's so many things happening, and at the minute, I can't keep up with them all. I'm focused in on, as you know, doing current events, news, and dipping in and out of protests and whatnot when I can, and trying to give a spread of as much as I can. So I've only a limited amount of time. So whatever the march is tomorrow, GPO tomorrow at 12:30, and then a march to the Doll after that. There's, if you're listening and you're in Dublin tomorrow, there's another one on today or tomorrow. Sorry, my apologies. Derek Bly was outside a hotel in Kerry. I'm sure Tralee. Not sure about that one. Catherine Purcell, hiya Catherine, says every town should be on board, Rick. Yeah, they should. The problem is they're not. Okay, and those that are, sometimes the numbers that are turning out in support of these events are absolutely woeful. And I don't get to all of them. I get to some when I can, but I mean, I've traveled to a few now recently where the turnout, certainly in relation to the size of the town, is not particularly encouraging. But who knows? Maybe it was just a bad day, or maybe people just don't care. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the live chat. People are enslaved to the system, snared by mortgages that need paid via jobs. They can't show up at protests for fear of being doxxed. Well, that is true. To a degree, a lot of people don't want to show their faces because they don't want to take the chance that their employer might see them, and they might be pulled in for a HR meeting and then told delete everything or apologize or you're going to lose your job. I get that, but there's also a lot of people that aren't in that position and they can come and not reveal who they are. I don't know. Each to their own. Everybody doesn't have to turn out for every protest in every town. If you don't believe in it, if you don't really believe they're of any benefit, then a lot of people just stay at home. But definitely there's room for improvement there somewhere along the line. And let's see if we can get any details on this. I'm watching the migrants taking over Ireland from afar, says Paul Kelleher. It's absolutely disgusting what's happening to our beautiful country. Very sad indeed. And it is breaking a lot of people's hearts, and it is demoralizing a lot of people also. But we've got to keep the old shoulders back, keep the chin up. Got to keep the old boots on. Die if you're going to die, as the saying goes. Die with your boots on. None in Tralee, all afraid of the Healy Rays. Is that in relation to iPass centres or in relation to arranging protests? If you could clarify that statement. Plenty of hardy GAA players, but they hide rather than stand up for their country. Sadly, yeah, that's another shocker for many, many people. How the mighty GAA has fallen in the eyes of many people. Wokeness has infested them. Just very disappointing. Same with Sinn Féin, for example. A lot of people are extremely disenfranchised and disheartened and disillusioned with them also. Disgusted, actually. But that's just the way things are going. Tomorrow, 12:30, GPO, there's another person mentioning this march. This march tomorrow. Just having a look. So, yeah, another march in Dublin tomorrow from the GPO to the Dáil. If you have any more details on what that's about, leave it in the live chat and I will try and highlight it. So, I want to look at a couple of stories, and I suppose I'll start off with the one with Philip. Philip Dwyer. So Philip is a citizen journalist / journalist, as many of you will know, and he has been doing the rounds for a long time now, documenting iPass centres, documenting protests, what's happening, giving his take on things, trying to bring to people's eyes and attention what's really happening out there in lack of mainstream media coverage. So he was in court today in Ennis, and this is his interview when he came out. I think he was found guilty of trespass. Spoiler alert, he's been found guilty of trespass. I think he was fined €500, but he is going to appeal it. So let's hear about this one. And as you're watching this, let me know what you think in the comments or leave a message in this live chat, and I will try and pick up on it as I am going along.
We're here, journalists, outside Ennis Courthouse. It's been a long day. We were the last case to be heard on my appeal against this so-called trespass case at the McGowan House, Inch, County Clare. Unfortunately, the judge ruled against me this time, but it's not the end. I'm going to appeal it, and I'm going to appeal it to the high heavens. This is very important for free speech. This is very important for journalists to be able to do their job, to walk onto a premises and ask to speak to somebody in charge or whatever, without being labelled as a criminal or whatever. And I do feel very strongly about this, how important it is for free speech. So I'm not going to give up, and as long as I have breath in my body, I will be trying to get the truth out to the Irish people, and protect the Irish people from the wrongdoing that's going on in this country. And I was privileged today to have some great people around me. One of them here was John Wilson. I also had Liz, and I also had Kathy. I won't say their second names, but they were here all day and stood by me, and I'm very appreciative of that. And John, people know you now from the protests. You've been making great speech, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come all the way from County Cavan to come down and show your support for myself in this particular case. Just give me your thoughts. I mean, what's your feeling walking out of it? It's kind of very deflating, I suppose.
This conviction, Philip, is a prime example of the law of unintended consequences. This criminal trespassing charge was never meant to be used against people like you, against journalists. This law was enacted to deal with criminals found in the curtilage of factories and houses who were intending to commit criminal offences. It was never meant to be used against people like you. And this is also a warning to people that are cheerleading for a hate speech law in Ireland, because if that law is enacted, it will be used in a similar manner, and people will be prosecuted for just expressing their free opinion. And even as is the case in I think it's Denmark, you can be prosecuted for hate speech by stating facts, by being factual, by making factual statements. This is a concerning development.
And we noticed in there as well. I noticed to me that judge seemed to just the lady who was supposed to be running this hotel, who wouldn't identify herself as a manager or anything else until she got inside that courtroom. The judge said he seemed to believe every single word that she said. She came out with a load of inaccuracies about what happened that day, implying that I did this and did that. A lot of it untrue, which we could clearly see, but he just fell for everything she said. It appears to me, if you're a foreigner that goes into a courtroom these days, you're just totally believed over the Irish person.
This conviction should be a concern to people that loathe you, as well as people that like you. This is very, very concerning. As I stated earlier, this is a prime example of the law of unintended consequences. Be careful what you wish for. This is very, very concerning that this criminal charge was used against you, and that you've now been convicted of criminal trespass merely by walking up the driveway of this premises, of this plantation centre, just to ask a couple of questions. You made it clear, even on the video, it was very, very clear that your intention was, if somebody identified themselves as the manager of the premises or the owner of the premises, and they requested you to leave, you were going to leave immediately. Several times on the video, you can be heard saying that you will leave as soon as you get to, as soon as you get talking to a manager or to the owner. This is a very, very concerning conviction to me. And it should be, as I said, Philip, regardless of people like you or loathe you, this is a very, very concerning conviction.
So that's the account that Philip gave today from outside the courtroom in Ennis, talking to John Wilson. And of course, many of you will know John Wilson from seeing him at protests, and also from, he's appeared on this channel several times, and in fact I think he's due to appear on it again tomorrow, all being well. I'm going to talk to him about crime and two-tier justice, two-tier policing, etc. Got a comment here from Mr. Mouse. Michelle Keane is starting at the GPO tomorrow and going to the Dáil. Apparently she's going to try and dissolve on Dáil. The Irish Constitution does not have that machinery built into its provisions. So a little bit more information there from Mr. Mouse. So it's a meeting to walk from the GPO to the Dáil tomorrow. Somebody else has put details up there about the timing and that. I think it's 12:30 from the GPO, marching to the Dáil, and apparently she's going to try and dissolve the Dáil. It's very ambitious, but there's no machinery built into the Constitution to do that, apparently. I've read, and I might be wrong about this, you can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I think the President of Ireland, in this case Michael D. Higgins, the little goblin himself, I think he has to formally move to dissolve the Dáil on advice from An Taoiseach Micheál Martin. Maybe I dreamt that up. Maybe I've hallucinated that one. I don't know. But I think that's the actual technical way that the Dáil is dissolved according to the Constitution. So you might want to put a little bit of meat on those bones if you have them. But either way, the protest is going ahead tomorrow. So if you're in Dublin and you want to get in behind that, you want to march to the Dáil and attempt to dissolve it, then you can do that. So Mouse says, correct, Rick. I'm assuming that's in relation to my statement to do with the President and the Taoiseach and the dissolving of the Dáil. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Let's see what happens tomorrow. It is tomorrow, yeah. Tomorrow being the 8th of July. I can't believe how quickly time is going by. So tomorrow, I'll keep an eye on that and see what's happening. And yeah, we'll go from there. Michelle called Michael D. Higgins great at Limerick protest last month. Well, maybe that was a cunning plan. Okay, maybe she's trying to get on his good side, because without him actively dissolving the Dáil, maybe nothing's actually going to happen. So listen, I don't know. I'm just observing this, reporting it back, and letting you guys know what's happening. Thank you very much to Al Gonzalez for the gift. Much appreciated from America. Tourist numbers from the US to Ireland are way down. As per Tourist Board, we Americans have seen the decline in crime in Dublin. It is shocking. Well, actually, that's something else that I wanted to talk about tonight. And it's something I might do a story on. About the hospitality industry in Ireland going down the toilet. I believe it's well underway, and there's some commentators that I've seen today say they don't think the majority of businesses are going to make it until the new year. In fact, there could be a domino effect that starts in around September time and runs all the way up to Christmas. Another comment here from Paul Myers. Rick, it's a percentage of the population, I think 3%, that revolts against the standing government. Then they have to stand down and dissolve the Dáil. Well, even if that was the case, Paul, even if that was the case, 3% of the population, you're still running into what? A population of 5.5 million. So what are you looking at? 500,000 people-ish, 400, 500,000 people to do that. The biggest protest that I've seen so far in Dublin has been somewhere between 50 and 100,000. So I don't know. If we could get 500,000 people together, 500,000, 400,000, even 250,000 people together to really come out and march purposely on the Dáil, 250,000 people, that optic would be almost impossible to ignore. Okay, I mean, it would be a march of marches, but it would have to have purpose. It would have to have purpose and really, really be well organized and be super focused on what they're trying to achieve. Okay, never mind, having speakers and platforms and all that. It would have to be like laser-like focus, going to the Dáil with at least 250,000 people. That would be absolutely impossible to ignore, completely impossible to ignore, in my humble opinion. So I'm just giving my thoughts about that one. So let's talk about the tourism side of things as well. And in fact, with the thing with Philip, I mean, he's going to appeal that. He's going to appeal that conviction for criminal trespass. And as John Wilson has said, this could set a precedent. This could set a precedent. Mouse says, seen that, Rick? Autumn will be the telltale on the hospitality industry. Yeah, I saw a guy talking today, Paul, someone, I don't know exactly who he is, but I might try and get him on for a chat because he seems to be in the business and he seems to know what's going on and he's got his finger on the pulse for that one. So there's a piece that I saw here. This is it. So no one is going to this is to do, with another tax that the Irish government wants to levy on tourists, which is going to be another nail possibly in the coffin of the tourism industry in Ireland. So it's no one is going to walk out of a check-in over an extra €80. Is it time for Ireland to copy other visitor hotspots when it comes to tourist taxes? Okay, it comes to tourist taxes. So taxes on all tourists are increasing across Europe and elsewhere. Now they're high on the political agenda in Dublin and Galway, despite the previous failure of a similar levy. So basically, this is not exactly going to incentivize people to come to Dublin in particular. If you've read this article further, there's another article that I saw today to do with Dublin's one of the most expensive place, not the most expensive place in Europe to stay. It's about €480 for two people to stay in a hotel for 2 nights on average at high season, which is insane before you factor in drink and the price of a pint or even the price of a coffee, just the price of anything. So you have that on the background, and the commentary that I saw today was that the margins are getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So businesses are having to pay out more money simply to trade at the minute, but they're not getting the extra footfall in to make up the extra outgoings that are going there. So if you were a business owner, or maybe you are a business owner, and if you are, you don't have to detail any of your, operational costs. But is this a fact? National insurance contributions are going up. The cost of electricity, the cost of materials, the cost of meat, everything's going up. Staff wages are going up. And when you put the prices up, there does come a tipping point now where people just simply aren't going to play ball. They're not going to play ball anymore. And rightly so. You know, I don't go out for dinners and I don't take holidays. Okay. But my one little indulgence is I like to go for a cup of coffee every day just to give myself a little bit of a buzz. That's it. Okay. Yes, it's expensive and yeah, it's probably a waste of money in many people's eyes, but that's my little indulgence. That's it. You know, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do anything else. So that's it. But it's getting to the point now, and it's not to do with the actual cost of it being unaffordable, but it's getting to the point now where I've seen prices almost double in the last 5 years simply to have a cup of good coffee. But it's getting to that psychological point now where they're creeping up to £4 or €4 odd. You know, when it comes to the point where it's going to be what, a fiver for a good cappuccino somewhere, like who realistically can look at a mug of milk and justify that, or at least cut back on that as a treat, or just say I'm not doing that anymore. I think that's what's happened with a lot of pubs. That's why a lot more people are drinking indoors these days, because they're going into a pub and around a drink, or what, a couple of pints, 3-4 pints is going to cost you over £20. No, people will reach the point where they're not doing it anymore, and then those businesses will dive. And then the people that are in those businesses will be unemployed. The suppliers will be affected. You know, if they're leasing the building as well, then the landlords will have an empty. It's just a terrible, terrible, terrible knock-on effect. Looking up just some of these comments here. Scott Linehan, by the way, what's the statue of Drogheda? Think two snakes kissing each other over a spiral supposed to represent the goddess of the river Boyne with an Islamic star and crescent moon above it. That's the statue. Look it up. Drogheda statue. Look it up. Patriotic Irish mommy says, I don't mind paying money for a family holiday, but not $4,000 for 2 nights. Well, I'd said 480, not $4,000. So maybe you picked me up wrong on that one. Although some hotels will be $4,000. You know, it's crazy money what people are prepared to pay, but that's if you've got the dough. Looking at places in Waterford, Craftastic, hit you by mistake there, but I'm giving you some screen time. That's quite an emoji or little symbol you've got there. Good evening, Rick and chat. Well, good evening to you too. And you are very, very welcome to the live stream. Drogheda is now Drogistan. Yeah, I've heard it called many things. Era First, welcome to you also. And thank you, by the way, for all your comments on my normal videos. Don't always get to acknowledge them, but as I scan through them, I do see them popping up. So thank you very much for that. And Al Gonzalez, I believe, thank you for that second gift. It's very, very much appreciated. Hello to all patriots. Somebody's talking about the price in Wicklow, I think it was. You know, even in Belfast, you know, to stay in Belfast is exorbitant. And there's really nothing in Belfast. You know, most of Royal Avenue's dead. Most of the independent coffee shops have all wrapped up. They're dead. But people seem to be coming there. You know, the tourists were flocking in off the back of the Titanic, and Game of Thrones. But, you know, you go to Titanic, you can walk around that in 2 hours. Go on a Game of Thrones. There's only so many forests and beaches you can have a look at. Sure, they could be anywhere. They could be taking you under the guise of saying that you're on a Game of Thrones tour. So, yeah, hospitality industry, absolutely crazy. I want to now look at, if I can, this is someone here. Thank you, Scott. Much appreciated. Shouldn't it be 2 Jawas instead of snakes? Well, actually, Scott, if you look at, I've said this before, if you look at the movie Conan the Barbarian, there's the main gangster, and that's called Thulsa Doom, an evil guy, and he's the head of some snake cult. But if you look at the symbol from the original Conan the Barbarian movie, it's like 2 snake heads coming together. The one in Drogheda is supposed to be 2 swans, but if they're swans, You know, we know some people have a hunger for swans. Some people that are maybe not natives to the parish are fond of hunting swans. So maybe that's a message there, a subliminal message as well. I want to look at this guy,
Simon, recently, and I saw people.
Now, I'll tell you why I want to look at this. Something about this video made me pause. And this is a chap called Ken O'Flynn, who is an independent TD for Independent Ireland. Okay, and a lot of people think he's doing a great job, and I've seen him speaking very, very well and very powerfully about some of the issues that are affecting constituents down in Cork. Now, he's talking in this case about homelessness, okay, and he's talking about IPAS inequality. And I'm going to play this. It's only maybe a minute long, less than a minute long. Now, if you can, listen to what he says and tell me what you think about what he says. Or is he playing it safe? Is he playing it safe when it comes to homelessness and Irish people versus IPAS provision for non-Irish people? Listen carefully.
Cork Simon recently, and I saw people queuing outside Cork Simon at 7 o'clock in the evening. You don't get in till 11 o'clock in the evening, and you're lucky if you get a mattress on the floor. Yet, that's what's happening to Irish people. And yet we go into IPAS centres where 3 meals a day are provided to people, a big turnaround, and there's toiletries and the whole lot, solid beds, the whole lot. Everything is given to them. Everything is given to them. And rightly so if they are genuine. But if those people are not genuine, they should be turned around quickly and moved and sent back to their port of call. That's the reality of it. I have to say, I'm amazed at the statements that are being made inside in the House today. You know, this bleeding heart idea, which doesn't really compute with what Irish people are saying and what Irish people are thinking. And what Irish people are thinking is, it's about time you got fair with everybody.
Thank you, Deputy.
Now, he talks there about getting fair with everybody. And I thought it was interesting what he said. He said that Irish people were sleeping on mattresses, maybe on the floors of direct emergency accommodation, whereas people in IPAS centres were getting a solid bed, a mattress, 3 meals, toiletries, etc.
It's the whole lot. Everything is given to them. Everything is given to them. And rightly so if they are genuine.
That's a bit, okay? They're getting everything in IPAS centres. Now listen. Then he said, and rightly so, if they're genuine. No, I'm not buying that, I'm afraid. That's a bit of fence sitting there that deserves being called out on. Because I don't believe anyone from outside of Ireland should have a solid bed, a mattress, 3 square meals, and toiletries provided for them, as long as there's an Irish family, man, woman, or child, no matter who they are, whereabouts they live, north, south, east, or west, or in the middle. No one should take priority, or no one should be no Irish family or child should be stepped over for anyone coming in from outside of Ireland, irrespective of whether they're genuine or not, or they can be traced or not. That's to me a weak statement. A weak statement, in my opinion. So I call out the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'll play it again. Listen.
A big turnaround, and there's toiletries and the whole lot, solid beds, the whole lot. Everything is given to them. Everything is given to them. And rightly so if they...
No, everything is given to them. Everything is given to them. And rightly so, he said.
They are genuine.
They are genuine. No, I'm not buying that. Personally, I think that's weak as piss.
But if those people are not genuine, they should be turned around quickly and moved and sent back to their port of call. That's the reality of it. I have to say, I'm amazed at the statements that are being made inside in the House today.
I'm amazed at that statement also. Now, it wasn't made today. It was made a few days ago. And like I said, I think Ken's doing some great work. And but this sitting on the fence when it comes to a topic like this, well said to Mark, first safe country. Yes, first safe country. Not hop, skip, and a jump over how many places to get here and then land yourself out in a cushy IPAS centre. And the bottom line is, if you've seen inside these, you know, there's nothing but the best of gear. They have suppliers bringing in, bed frames, beds, good brand new mattresses. And the food, I've seen deliveries going to iPass centres, or at least one hotel near where I live. And the person, the delivery that's going in there for meat is the best. It's the best. Scott says, "You going to the Dáil protest tomorrow, Rick?" No, Scott, absolutely not, my friend. I am up to my eyes in it here. I live away up in northern part of County Down, and unless I've got free time or I can get transport down, no, I won't be going down to it. But I'll be keeping an eye on it. I've been trying to cover what it is. Earlier on, 2:30 p.m. or 12:30 p.m., I believe, from the GPO, walking to the Dáil to dissolve the Dáil. That's the intended aim. But as Mouse has put up there, there's nothing in the Constitution that will allow that to happen without the movement of Michael D. Higgins. So that's the facts, what I gather the facts to be. So tomorrow we'll find out whether or not the Dáil gets dissolved or not. Poland took in millions of Ukrainians. They did indeed. But then again, a lot of them kept moving through Poland, through Germany, through France, into the UK, and then up across either into Northern Ireland, or they moved to various iPass centres in the so-called south. So interesting. But anyway, that's Ken, and he seems to be a little bit woolly when it comes to, he doesn't want to come out and say it. These people should be blocked from coming into Ireland as long as there's Irish homeless families. So that's that one. Another case, some people have been mentioning actually the Citywest protest from earlier tonight. I want to show you that one as well. And this is, I suppose you would say, a good case of a little bit of direct action going on by the residents of Sagard. And if we've seen nothing over the last week, it's that to get stuff done, and I'm thinking in particular about the Dublin Friday flash counter protest against this Islamic group that were planning on marching from Christchurch down to the GPO and were cut off at the pass by a group of game Irish nationalists. Well, I think we're seeing how effective protesting gets stuff done immediately in the case of the Dáil protest or the GPO protest on Friday. So let's look at the Citywest M50
10 or 20
tonight.
behind them, and the 4 lead cars are blocking everyone. If you want to go by them, they're going to have to pull a crazy maneuver. There go the guards again. The guards are up again. The guards, look, there's one guard car. The guards are not watching the media. The guards are living in a bubble. They don't know what's going on. This guy got through, look, he got through. John, this is a slow down protest.
I'm going to highlight this one as well, actually, for afterwards. But this is the drive slow protest, and as you can see, this was earlier on. Someone's asking me, is this 420 streaming earlier? I don't know, Chris. I didn't. I just saw this before I hopped on this live stream, so I'm not sure where the source is. But this is
by the residents of Sagard to stop the sale of a local hotel. They're being turned into an iPass centre. And here come the guards again. Here comes another guard. He thinks blowing his horn is going to move people on.
So that's the, as you can see, it certainly causes a snarl up. Certainly causes a snarl up there. But the guards, they don't know what to do. There's one guard a car on the right. You can see it on the hard shoulder. He's beeping his horn, or she's beeping her horn to try and get the traffic moving. But I think the whole purpose of a go slow protest is that the guards beeping their horn and driving up the hard shoulder isn't going to make any difference. So yeah, and somebody asked, do they not even watch the media? Do they not even know what's happening? Do they not even understand what they're trying to do here? So that's Sagard tonight. That happened earlier on, I believe. So we have a comment here worth highlighting, I believe. Do you even support your Irish barbers, or have you ran to the imported barbers for the World Trade Order? Well, I can talk personally here. I cut my own hair. You can probably tell that by looking at it, but I cut my own hair. I have a set of 30-year-old clippers, and I just chop at it with a pair of scissors, and I kind of get the job done. But on principle, I will not. I will support local barbers in the first instance. I didn't really care so much about it. You know, I haven't been out of barbers for about maybe 3 years now. Maybe 3 years since I stopped going to a barber's. And it's just because literally I can't be bothered going into town and, you know, trying to find a seat and sit and waiting and listening to the crap music and, you know, having to talk for half an hour while someone chops up around my hair and shaves at the back of my head. But anyway, I cut my own hair, and I'm not ashamed of it. Okay, maybe if this all falls down, if I get deplatformed, I can actually do my own barbering. Triple X is number 4 all over, kid. Well, what I do is this hasn't been shaved for about 2 weeks, but I do a number 2 up the back and sides, right? Number 2 up to about here. Then I have a number 4 that I sort of stick and try and blend it in with this bit here, so it doesn't look like I've had a lobotomy done. And then at the front, I kind of lift it up and just chop at it with a pair of old scissors that I keep in the bathroom to chop my own hair, and then I just scoop it all out of the sink and wash out the sink and throw it into the toilet. So there you go. We're not into the toilet, into the waste basket, because it can block up the toilets. But yes, support your own barbers, folks. If you can, support local businesses, support local cafes, if you can, over chains. Support farm shops, even if you're paying a little bit extra for it, okay? And I know things are tight out there, but if you can, support your local businesses, support your local farmers, support your local hospitality, support your local barbershops. And I will make a pledge tonight. And in fact, I'll tell you what I've been doing. I've actually been scoping around the town that I'm in, that if I do decide to go back to a barber's, because to be honest, I used to wear like a number 1 really high or grade 0 and get it blended in. I can't do that myself. But if I feel like it again, getting super short, crop, buzz cutted hair, I will go to a barber's, and I pledge it tonight. It will be to an Irish barber's. Okay, definitely. And it's someone else said about takeaways. Yeah, I don't get takeaways either. To be honest with you, I am super wary of food bought out that I don't cook myself. Maybe a little bit paranoid about that, but I like to prepare my own food. There's a good local chippy near me that I indulge in from time to time, maybe once a month. Do a nice pasty supper. Can't go too far wrong with that, you know, deep fried in oil for ages to kill any bacteria. So even if your hygiene's filthy, you can still, the fat, the boiling fat, if it doesn't clog your arteries up and give you a heart attack, will certainly kill any germs. Hard to find in Irish barbers these days. Yeah, here's the thing, 0. Seek and ye shall find, as the Bible says. Literally, go for a drive around your town and look out for them. I don't think there's any more directories anymore, or just look up barbers in your local area and go around and suss them out. And you should find, if it's a reasonably sized town, you should find maybe at least one that can cut your hair. And if not, try going to the next town or village. So that's a bit of a random discussion there about Irish barbering. But yeah, support local in every way. And taxis as well, taxi drivers as well. Support your local taxi firms and support drivers. If you get a good driver, ask for their card usually. And if you do need to get taxis or whatever it is, you can get a good local taxi driver and give them your business as well. So there's another story here, and I'm nearly done, by the way, because this was a completely impromptu live, but it's great. We've got about 520 people in the chat at the minute, which is fantastic. I can't see any thumbs ups or thumbs down. It doesn't really bother me that much about thumbs ups, to be honest with you, but I suppose it does help the algorithm if you give it a thumbs up. So if you're listening here, I'll be highly disappointed if I don't see at least 519. thumbs ups after this video, and you can feel free to share it. Just hit share, copy and paste the link. If people don't see the video live, which is now, they will be able to watch it on replay, but we're not done quite yet. And I made a good call tonight. The first live stream that I did about 2 weeks ago, it was late start, and then it got dark, and then I was sitting in darkness. So I thought, if this goes on past an hour, I'll need the lights on. So I've got the big glaring studio lights on here tonight. So it's a little bit bright, but it helps me with my squinty eyes as well. Rick, you're one of the RTE Slayers, pal. Well, I'll tell you what, Era first, you know, I don't know what it is, because with this channel, I have a Twitter account that I do not use. I do not post any of my videos on that account. I have a small Telegram channel. I haven't posted anything on it in 4 months. I don't post on any other social media platforms. I just post on YouTube right now. And for whatever reason, they are pushing this content algorithmically. Thank God. But it's because of you guys as well. And in case I forget, thank you very much to Finola for the gift. Very, very much appreciate it. I appreciate that very, very much. So yeah, this channel is growing because of literally, well, I'm producing the content. If I wasn't making it, you wouldn't be watching it and sharing it. But the fact that you are watching it, you are sharing it, you're leaving comments. Sometimes there's 1,000+ comments underneath the video, which is insane. When I started this thing off 6 months ago, I was lucky to get 2 or 3. Someone left a comment. It was like, oh, someone's left a comment, you know, and it's just taken off. But I'm just chugging along. You know, as you can see, there's no fancy backdrop. You know, there's nothing. I could get I've got a green screen behind me, but I don't use it. Just can't be bothered with it. I've got these lights, good studio lights, and this is the first time in 6 months that I've used them. They're just sitting there. Don't even bother using them, you know, and you know, pretty basic setup, but I believe it's about content, and I want to believe you're enjoying the content. That's why you keep coming back and watching it. Someone said about Paul Trevard, I think is the man's name in hospitality. Yes, I think you're right, Daft, and thank you for that information. And I'll see if I can maybe, I'm going to try and look at the deaths that are happening in Ireland at the minute, deaths of towns, deaths of hospitality industry, you know, deaths of society, just a little focused and little mini documentaries, maybe doing a little bit of traveling around. I don't know. I can do a lot of things at the minute. I can start branching out a little bit with the content, which I will be doing over the next month or two. So as well as doing the live stuff here, doing the videos, 2 videos a day, 6 days a week, and also trying to get out to the odd protest when I can. I want to try and, I don't know, branch it out. I want to talk to people in front of me. All right. I love interviewing people on the camera, but I only have about 4 or 5 people that I talk to on air or invite as guests simply because I'm doing other stuff. But I'd like to sit down in front of people, me not being on the camera, but talking, people looking at me, talking to me, focusing on them, right? Focusing on them. That's what I want to do. I don't even like me being in this, but I kind of have to be, because it's my head that's doing all the talking. You know what I mean? It's my head that's doing the talking, but I'm looking at stuff, and some little doors are opening up to do that. So yeah, the best is yet to come, guys. The best is yet to come. Take a trip down to Tralee. I will, if I can. Bat21 will do that. Also, Starlight Calf, thank you very much for your lovely comment. Rick, I wouldn't have a clue what's going on in this country without your channel. Appreciate you as always. Well, I'm one of several outlets that I believe is producing regular content to do with current affairs. So there's good people doing good work out there, and you know, give them love, comment on their videos, share their videos, retweet their videos. I'm hoping that somebody mentioned John. I'm hoping to talk to John Wilson tomorrow morning I'll talk to Niall McConnell as well. I was supposed to talk to him last week, but his internet was a bit dodgy. So I want to try and get a good, stable connection with him. And I'll do a really good chat with him as well. Really dig into the meat and bones of what's happening in these regional protests. And you mentioned about Tralee earlier on. We'll talk about smaller regional protests need as much, if not more, support than the big ones. The so-called big ones that are happening in Dublin and Cork and Roscommon. Great protest in Roscommon there on Saturday as well. I believe there's one coming up. In fact, you can keep me right in the chat here. There's another one coming up in, is it Waterford? Or is there one in Galway? Is there one coming up in Waterford? And then there's another one in Galway, I believe, at the start of August. And there's one, I think, in Waterford at the end of July. But again, I don't have all the details. Unfortunately, it would be great if there was a Sligo on Saturday week, says Ben Croy. Cottage, yep, another one there. If anyone, listen, here's another thing. All right, I don't have a central database. But if you, whoever you are, listening to this now is organizing something or getting something together and you want me to try and publicize it here on this channel, I will happily do it for you, okay? But what I'll need you to do is email me a graphic of your poster, okay? And I'll stick it up on my community page. Community posts, usually quite a few people have a wee gander at what I put up there. I don't post on it very much. And I'll also try and talk about it in advance on the main channel on videos. So if you are thinking of organizing something and you're frustrated, there's no publicity for it, get a poster, get it together, email it to me. The email address also is on my channel description page. Some people aren't even aware that's up there. Again, I don't really publicize it, but go to the channel description and the email address is, I think, info dot no risk no reward media@gmail.com. Someone says, Rick, you said that you don't use Twitter channel. Yes, Frank, I do get some messages on the Twitter channel, but I'm only on it maybe every few days, once a week, maybe even at that. I don't post. I haven't actually posted any content of my own on there since March. Some people repost my stuff on there and then I repost it or retweet it, but my account is so shadow banned. It's not worth my while, and I can't stand Elon Musk, to be frank with you. I think he's a rat. So that's that. People suggesting guests to come on the show. Where is it? Saoirse Ahern. Well, actually, I bumped into Saoirse Ahern, or we bumped into each other at Cork. And if you go back to the stream of the little compilation that I put together of the Cork protest, you'll see the one and only Saoirse Ahern appearing on that. See, the thing is, because of the content that I produce, sometimes people have messaged me and said, could I come on and talk to you about this? Unless I can condense it into, if it's not current affairs or it's not linked to something that I'm covering on the day, unless I can condense someone's story and what they're doing into 10 minutes, the answer is no, because it's just the format that I'm using at the minute. But as the channel keeps growing more and more, I'll maybe do that. So I'm not saying no, won't. And I see she's in the live chat as well. Saoirse, if you're listening, that's not a snub. Not that you would have even said yes anyway, but I'm saying at the minute, it's current affairs stuff that I'm doing, or I'm live streaming based on current events. I'm trying to cover 4 or 5 stories even here tonight, just to give you a little bit more value. Only 107 thumbs up. That's a disgrace. 474 people in. Yeah, get the thumbs ups happening, people. But if you don't, I'm not going to fall out with you over it. Another one, just as we start to draw this to a close, possibly, although we're not finished just yet. This was a story that was broke earlier on to do with a feud, another feud that's going on in Dublin. So as we can remember, maybe a week or two ago, there was a Roma feud going on that resulted in, I don't know how many people, one person died. There was people driving over each other in cars and all that sort of business. But anyway, there's another feud that's ongoing, and a man was stabbed to death last night. He's now been named as Mr. McAvoy. Terrible the way they don't even put his first name in this headline page here. But Dublin stabbing victim named locally as Gardaí investigate a feud linked to an attack. His murder is linked to a violent local feud, which has seen over 50 incidents in just 12 months. So I don't think he was of foreign origin. It doesn't really matter. The story, I was covering this story in relation to the policing and the awareness of this feud. You can see yourself there that there was at least 50 incidents reported in the past year. What's being done about it? Now we have a man dead, and they're talking about, they think it could escalate further. There could be more people dead. There's armed guards there. They're talking about gangs of teenagers, gangs of young people from at least 3 different areas. So is this actually the beginning of something even bigger that's going to be happening? Or is this going to be the end of it? Will they literally bury the proverbial hatchet? I don't know. I don't know. So that's that story also. There was one other clip here I was going to play as well. This is just one to finish off, and this will probably hack a lot of people off when you see this one. But this is to do with someone you see a lot of people these days helping themselves to food in shops and just walking out without paying it, either pleading ignorance or pretending that they don't know what they're doing and whatnot. But look at this, the audacity on this guy today. That is, he's pulled up. Okay, he's been pulled up in a Dublin store, and he's pretending like he doesn't know what's going on, and has the audacity to be eating and drinking the food as the guards are talking to him. So check this guy out. Check the brass neck on this guy here today. Yeah, seen this one today, walking out without paying. Check this out.
Okay, why did you eat it if you didn't pay for it?
Why did you eat it if you didn't pay for it? Right? And how many guards do they have in here for this guy here? So, at least 2. He's sitting there with his nice shiny backpack on, his nice jacket, his little hat, and his earphones. He can't afford food. Give me a break.
What? You pay for stuff before you eat it. No, you don't. Where are you from? Where do you go in and eat stuff and then pay after? No, this is a shop, it's not a restaurant. And give me everything, I'll pay you. Sorry? I'll go withdraw some money to pay you. For what?
Do you have a bank card? Do you have a bank card right now? You don't? Do you have a bank card? It's an ATM.
Look at him standing there with that up to his mouth. I don't know. I wouldn't make a very good policeman, to be honest with you. I wouldn't make a very good school teacher either, because that, if he was standing in front of me, swigging out of that bottle, I'm not going to tell you what I would do with that bottle or where I would put that bottle. But I'll tell you what, it would get rid of his smug arrogance.
Go to the ATM. The ATM there.
Here, in the shop.
You
How
can't
are you going to get money then?
So send it. They send it now for the next 2 minutes. Otherwise, you can't lift this. Theft. So, we ate food, didn't you? You pay for it.
Actually, when we asked him to give us, he just intentionally opened the sandwich in front of us. He started eating it.
Whips the mobile phone out now. Nice iPhone, nice Android phone, nice set of headphones, nice clothes, looks kind of clean, well shaven, probably more presentable than me. And there he is, standing munching away on his food and swigging his drink, while 3 guards waste their times trying to reason with him. This is so weak. So weak. And you know what? When people sense weakness, they prey on it. Give them an inch and they take a mile, or in this case, a sandwich.
Even though he has money, he should give us his tax.
So we took part of it and you didn't pay for it.
Yeah, but I am. Yeah, but it's this. You know, Yeah, they get arrested for sexual fraud, theft, and never brought back exactly how they want to
Once you pull the money out now.
Let me see.
It's not a paper. He'll give you a free sandwich and a cup of tea in the station, well, he will.
You hear that? He says you'll get a free sandwich and a cup of tea in the station. Look at him still grinning. What will it take to wipe the smile off these people's faces? You know, I'm saying that metaphorically, of course. I'm saying that metaphorically. But what will it take to wipe the smile off these people's faces? I just can't believe it. Let's look at a few comments here and see what you guys are saying. Kath says, good night and God bless everyone. Great live as always. Rick, thank you very much for dropping in. Kath, I know it's a little bit late tonight. For those of you who weren't here at the beginning of the stream, I had planned to do this at 7, then 8. Then I think I finally started at 9, and I didn't even put up a notification. I just said, stuff it. I'm going to jump on and I'll throw a few stories together. But it's been mighty. The crack's been mighty here tonight. I'm not finished just yet, so don't all exit whenever I say, right, we're wrapping it up. Everyone piles out. Look, the numbers are dropping already. I'm not just done yet, so I want to take this time, actually, and I'll do a little bit of a Q&A. Might as well. We're on a bit of a roll here tonight, and maybe some of you can't sleep. Maybe some of you don't want to go to sleep. Maybe this is kind of therapeutic for some of you, and I get some great comments, bump into some people at protests, especially elderly people. Thank you very much, Ollie. Let me just put that up there. Ollie, GITK. Love the show. Keep it up. Ireland for the Irish. Thank you very much, Ollie. That's very, very much appreciated. But you know what? What I've found is, on some of the messages that I get, and I don't know if he's listening in or not, but there's a beautiful old gentleman by the name of Bernard who listens in, and he's in his 80s, and he shares this channel out with all his friends. And you know, it was really powerful what he said. He said the ones that are still alive, I share it with them, and he likes to listen in and get some beautiful messages from him as well. So thank you for that. And maybe if you can't sleep, maybe this will help put you to sleep tonight. This will help put you to sleep. Someone asked the question here. Oh, I nearly deleted your comment. I didn't mean to do that. Where do you see us in 5 years' time, Rick? Well, to be honest with you, if things keep going the way they're going, and there isn't a coherent push to overthrow this tyrannical government in one way or another, non-violently, I have to say non-violently, and as John Waters put it, you can do it with 3 V's, right? 3 V's. The first V is voting. The second V is violence, which no one wants to see. Anyone with a sane brain in their head will not want to see violence. And the third one is a velvet revolution. Okay, so those are the 3 options. And, you know, some people are completely disillusioned with voting, completely disillusioned with the electoral protest, think it's a complete fix, one thing and another. But the fact of the matter is, that's what's there. That is not going anywhere anytime soon. Okay, that's not going anywhere anytime soon. So if that war is to be fought, okay, it'll have to be fought on a political battlefield for some people, and it won't be and can't be fought unless there's a viable, coherent, legitimate party put together, or group of people put together that are willing to work together for that aim. And even if that's the case, and you asked me the question, where this is in 5 years' time, if that was to start tonight, let's say that actually started tonight, it's going to take 5 to 10 years minimum before that starts to work its way through any kind of parliament. So I think, to be honest with you, quadruple hashtag, I don't know what your real name is there, but I would say that, and John Wilson said this, there could be a complete collapse. I mean, the economy, the house prices, if this trade deal with America doesn't work out the way that it's supposed to either, could have disastrous implications for the Irish economy with tariffs, with the amount of people that are leaving Ireland for pastures greener. They don't want to go, but they feel like they have to go, being replaced by cheaper labour, the shortage of houses, it could all go very, very, very bad, very, very quick. Maybe I don't even think we've got 5 years, to be honest, before anything like that happens. I just don't think we have 5 years. Someone that's mentioning deportations as well. Well, look at deportations. You know, how many flights have there been out of Ireland so far this year? Three deportation flights or remigration flights this year. They call them deportation flights. How many people have been on them? A grand total of around about 110. 110. 2 flights to Georgia, to Tbilisi in Georgia, 1 flight to Lagos in Nigeria. 110 people over 3 flights at a cost to the Irish taxpayer of approximately €1 million. That has been the sum total of action by the Irish government to this point, and we're now into July. So we're a full 6 months into the year. So if the government keeps going at the way that they're going, let's be honest about it. Let's look at the figures. If they keep going the way they're going this year, by the end of 2025, they will have deported less than 250 people. 250. Now, how many people are coming in to the country? How many people have came in when those 110 have went out? They're still funding IPAS centres to the tune of $1 billion a year. They've bought, or they're in the process of buying Citywest for 150 million plus. They're going to develop probably the 50 acres of ground around it to turn it into IPAS Central in Citywest in Dublin. That's why they were doing the Go Slow protest earlier on. So you've got to bear all this in mind, folks. You know, it's a scary business. And that's why there's starting to become an urgency here that if things don't happen and happen fast, it could be too late. And I refer back to the protest in Dublin on Friday that was organised as a counter-protest at the GPO to stop an Islamic protest coming down from Christchurch to the GPO to do whatever it was that they're going to do. I'm just saying, that got the job done. There was no arrests. There was no violence. There was a mass show at the right time, in the right place, done the right way. Got the job done. Okay, and there was no forward planning. There was no posters up. There was no stage. There was no speakers, etc., etc., etc. I'm just saying, there's a real need for direct action. And if you listen to Big Fergus Parr, I've spoke to him once so far on this show. He'll tell you, you know, the time. It's great to protest. It's great to get out together. It's great to give you a lift. It's great to see the optics, and it is. I'm a massive believer in that myself, but there now needs to be a push towards direct action. Fiona, let me see, you put a comment up there about it being, I want to get that content. There's that many flying past me that I'm not seeing it. Best protest ever, I think was your comment. Best protest ever. And to be honest with you, you know, that's one that I would have really liked to have been at, but I'll tell you the truth, right? I'll tell you the truth. Let me make a confession here. I got the information in that original Islamic protest middle of last week, and I didn't really mention it because, quite frankly, I thought it was a wind-up. The poster looked like it had been mocked up as a joke, as a wind-up, to try and, you know, get people to lose their minds. And then I saw there was a counter-protest organised, but there was no publicity behind it. So I put the two together, and on Friday morning, I put a video up about it. And I'll be honest with you, and Philip Dwyer was going into Dublin. I said, do you know anything about this? Do you think this is legit? Is this a joke? Is this a wind-up? And he says, well, Rick, if it was going to be a wind-up, I think I would have heard about it by now. So he went into Dublin anyway to see what was happening. I'm just telling you this because this is what happened. So he started off by going up to Christchurch, and when he went up there, he said there are public order units there, Garda public order units there, and there is a Garda presence there. Then he went down to St. Stephen's Green and passed to O'Connell Street to near the Spar, and he said there's a counter-protest there walking up to meet them, and they cut them off at Dame Street, and they didn't get any further. They blocked the bridge over the river at O'Connell Street. Okay, so that was all done real fast. And I was almost thinking, damn, what if there is no protest? What if this has all just been a wind up? Well, your credibility gets damaged. But I was talking about other issues, not just that protest, but I was trying to flag it up for people's attention. So I even questioned it, and I had the finger over. What if this is a joke poster? What if this is a fake march? What if this is all just a load of hot air? And then he said, no, there's people starting to appear, and then bang, the march just took off, and the job got done, folks. The job got done. So, Finola, if it was you that left that comment, I believe, saying best protest ever. There's certainly a case to be made for that. There's certainly a case to be made for that one. So, yeah, if you were there on Friday, you can let me know what you think. I'm trying to find the comments here. There's that many flying past me here. It's great. Still a lot of people in here. We've got 516 in the chat right now as the night goes on. So maybe, I don't know, will we pull an all-nighter here, folks? Will we pull an all-nighter? It's 11:15 now. I'm sure some of you are feeling a little bit tired, but I'm a nocturnal type of person myself. So I would just be sitting thinking about all this stuff. I figure I might as well be sitting here talking to you guys about it. That lady from Limerick, yeah, have to give a shout out. That lady from Limerick who came up alone in a train, stood there on the gates on the GPO. And if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry I can't put links in here, but at least I don't know how to. I don't want to mess up the stream, but Gentle Poet is her name. Yes. So Cara says her name is Gentle Poet. So if you search for her on social media, you'll find her. But this old lady, 73, I think, she traveled on the train from Limerick, and she just stood there and said, this is why we're here. This is not happening. No way in hell is this going to happen. And she stood there like an absolute trooper and held her ground, spoke extremely well. Occident Advocate said, aye, that elderly Limerick lady was brilliant, bless her. And listen, here's the thing. Every movement and every protest, every rising needs a mixture. Okay. You need the youth coming in, learning from the people that are activists, learning the ropes, getting inspired, having examples set for them. You need the youth, you need the younger men and women, okay, that are in their physical best, and you need people there also that are wise and that are mature. That Gentle Poet lady is not the sort of person you would want maybe in the front lines with you if things got a little bit hairy. But then again, she's an elderly lady. But if you wanted counsel, you wanted some advice, you wanted some wisdom imparted to you, that would be the person to go for. So there has to be a mixture. There has to be a mixture of age, and this sounds like DEI, DEI for the nationalist movement. It's not. But you need the young people coming up through the ranks. You need the activists, the younger people, activists out there in the front lines, doing the heavy lifting, as it were, physicality. And then you need the more mature people, and then you need the old hands in there. And it needs to be supported as well. These things do not go on thin air. And that's the problem. NGOs are funded to the tune of 6 billion a year by the Irish government, 6 billion a year by the NGOs. And by the way, this isn't a call for fundraising. I'm not doing that at all, but I am saying that if you do find a movement that you want to get behind, it has to be supported somehow financially. And there's an awful lot of irregularities happening out there, people. I would be very, very hesitant before I would do anything to support or back anyone financially, because there's that many scammers out there. Okay, so I would encourage all of you to use a little bit of discernment, study people over a period of time, and then if there's a call, okay, we need to get flags, for example. We're supplying people with flags. They're not free. We're handing them out for free, but they're not free. Our suppliers doing them at cost price. I think that's how big McConnell does it. He has a supplier that gives him flags at cost price. I think they're 2 for €10 or 3 for €10. Big, good quality flags, good placards. He hands them out for free of protest. He's handing out copies of his newspaper. I've seen him doing it. All right. Lots of them all over the place for free, chucking them out there like confetti. But he's relying on people supporting the work that he's doing. So I'm just saying, and I'm not telling you to necessarily go and support him. That's up to you to make that decision. All right. I'm trying to get to know him a little bit better. But what I'm saying is use your own discernment, use your own head, do your own research and follow your own gut, and then do what you need to do. But these things don't run on thin air. They really don't. It ain't me. Sorry for ignoring this comment. It's been up there for a while. Smashing live, Rick. First time seeing you do a live. Watch your vids every day. Thank you very much. It ain't me. Always nice to have people on a live stream for the first time. I started doing these like a week and a half ago, nearly 2 weeks ago, and I went a bit crazy. I did about 4 in the first week. But I'm going to cut back on the live, so you won't be getting spammed with me doing live streams. Okay, I'll definitely do no more than 1 a week, and if I do it, it'll probably be a Monday night live, because to be honest, Monday nights, people get a bit depressed at the start of the week. It's back to work, or it's after the weekend, you're on a bit of a downer. So I'm thinking, Monday night's as good a night as any. But if I do these live streams, I won't be doing any more than 1 a week, maybe 1 a fortnight. At the worst case scenario, once a month, but probably 1 per week or 1 per 2 weeks. That will be the expected frequency and the expected day, but that could all change as well. Robert Bell says, you're making the time pass for me at work, so thank you for doing the live stream. You're welcome. I've had some great comments from people that have came up to me at protest and say, yeah, when I'm out working or driving the van, or one guy was in Carrickmacross, he worked in a quarry, I think. He worked in a quarry, and he drives a big digger, but he says he listens to podcasts while he's doing it. Agnes Lynch, Niall's a great guy, works hard. Great to hear support from all the patriots out there. Yes, they do. And listen, things are tight. People can't just support everybody the way that they want to. But, a little bit here and there, just encourage people. And I thank God for all the people that, I don't and won't ever make an appeal for anything. But, people are throwing a bit here and there. It helps me, it helps me to cover traveling expenses and one thing and another. And I thank each and every one of you. And to be honest, even if just watching these videos, sharing these videos, and I'm not joking, and leaving comments for these videos is pushing the algorithm for them, and it gets me a bit of pocket money at the end of the month as well. So it helps me out too. So whether you give directly or not to me or anybody else, everything helps. Absolutely everything helps, and appreciate it. Block all the roads to Dublin, says Dogman Vic. Well, the one thing that I'm amazed that has not been done, and I can remember during the lockdowns when people were trying to figure out ways to crack the government with lockdowns, the one thing that almost did it right at the start was the Canadian truckers protest. You remember that in Ottawa? They had a massive stream of people that were going to Ottawa from all across America and Canada, and they were demonized. They had their bank accounts frozen. They had their commercial vehicle licenses suspended because the government knew that is the sort of thing that grinds everything to a halt. So yes, block all the roads into Dublin. Sounds easy, but you got to get the people, the amount of people that's needed to do that. You've seen it tonight with that rolling protest on the motorway outside Saggart. Okay, you saw it yourself tonight, but can you imagine what that would be like going down the M1 or the M50, coming in and out of Dublin, each direction, let alone what you could do outside of Cork, what you could do, excuse me, outside of Limerick or anywhere else like that. So I'm just saying there are still avenues that have not been explored that need to be explored and are exceptionally powerful and potent when it comes to getting results and it comes to getting things done. So let's see what else we've got here. Paul in Christ says, Jesus Christ, the eternal God, Son, took on flesh, became all your sin. Believe in Jesus Christ and be saved. Yes, believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and thou shalt be saved. John 3:16, I'm going to quote a gospel verse. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. So it's nice to have a little bit of God introduced into this too. Maybe some of you aren't believers. I'm not trying to force my beliefs on anybody. You can take them or leave them. But I'll tell you, I'm only alive today by the grace of God. I'm only upright today by the grace of God. My head is only above water today by the grace of God. God alone. God alone. So anyway, I'm not going to start preaching here tonight. But and I don't mind if people don't agree with my beliefs, but I don't hide them either. Okay, I don't hide them either. I'm a born again evangelical Christian. I don't hide that. But you can disagree with me. You can say it's all garbage. You can think I'm crazy. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to fall out with anybody over it. But if you ask me a question, and believe me, I could tell you stories. Rick, how did this happen? How did you get to do this? Let me tell you this. It will blow your brains out, blow your head off. But anyway, that's for another time. We're not going to get into this at 5 to 11 at night. And let me know what time it is wherever you are tonight. And let me know what time it is wherever you are. And, people talk about, your background and this, that, and the other. If you read that verse from John 3:16, there's a group that's mentioned in there called the whosoevers. The whosoevers. So if you really want to get technical about this, folks, we're all part of the same big group. The whosoevers. The whosoevers. That name also comes up in that verse that was quoted. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. The whosoevers. If you really want to get into faith, the whosoevers. Look up the whosoevers. Anyway, Cara says, God bless you, Rick, my brother in Christ. God bless you too, Cara. Thank you very much for that message. And listen, I wasn't always like this. I didn't always have faith. I started off in life with some faith, then I got into the wrong crowd, running with the wrong people, doing the wrong things. And for a very, very long time, I was going the wrong direction at a rate of knots. Then some stuff happened to me that shook me to my core, and I turned again. So anyway, like I said, I'm not getting into this tonight, but someone mentioned, what about tomorrow? What I think of tomorrow's protest? I say go. If you want to show support for the protest. I think Michelle Keane, someone said, is running that protest, or she's organizing it. So go and show her some support. Whether or not the doll is overthrown tomorrow, I'm not being funny here, but I don't think she's going to overthrow the doll, even though there's no harm in aiming for that. And who knows? Listen, we're talking about faith and all that. Anything is possible if you believe, but we'll have to wait and see tomorrow whether or not the doll is overthrown. So I say, if you're in Dublin and you want to go to it and show some love and show some support. Excuse me. Let's see. Agnes Lynch, last few years, lots have turned back to God. Demons are running amok now. It's obvious. Yeah. I mean, look at the world. I mean, how anyone can look at the world and tell me it's getting better when you look at what's happening in school classrooms, you look what's happening with the youth, you look at what's happening in churches or so-called churches with so-called men and women of God. It's terrible, terrible. The devil's having a field day, but in the end, God has the victory. God has the victory. And yes, it's not too late to turn back. Never too late to turn back. As long as you've got breath in your body, Cara, as long as you've got breath in your body, it's not too late to turn back and make your peace with God. So that's well said. Let's see. What else? Quadrax says, respect. I could tell you've been through a lot by how you can communicate. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm not being dramatic. This is not planned. This is not planned, but I'm only where I am today by the grace of God. That's it. I can take no credit. I can take no credit. None. But anyway, yeah, demons in skin suits, indeed. Anyone see the Lily Allen abortion thing? I did see that. It was terrible. Terrible in that, and I'm not going to judge anyone because a lot of women are lied to and pressurized into having terminations or abortions done on one thing and another. I'm not for. I'm completely against it. What I mean is, the amount of pressure on people and the amount of propaganda in there, and then the worst of it is that you have people on TV almost joking about it. Oh, I've had 5, or well, I've had 6, with this evil grin on their face. It's just horrific. That's just horrific. Ain't Me says, 100% Rick, fair play. I'm an atheist myself because I'm so skeptical about religion. And listen, you have every right to be. Why wouldn't you be? When you look around you today and you look at the shambles that is masquerading as the so-called church, I understand 100% why you would be skeptical to the highest order. I can understand your position. Believe me, I can understand your position. There's too many different right ones. Who's right and who's wrong? Exactly. Listen, just keep questioning. Keep no harm in questioning, and don't be. Your position can and probably will change over time. Mine did. I flip-flopped a lot from one side to the other. All right, but anyway, you're on your journey, and I'm still a work in progress, and that's what we are, folks. We're just a work in progress. We're just a work in progress. So what else have we got in here? Do you know what? Actually, it's probably, well, there's 500. No, we'll keep going for a little bit. Keep going for a little bit more. What do you reckon? Keep going. Give me a thumbs up if you want to keep going. Leave a message, yes, for keep going in the live chat, or shut up, Rick. Go to bed if you want me to stop, and I shall honor the wishes of the people in the live chat. You're lucky, Rick, being in the north. People don't know what's coming, don't know how bad or good it is there yet. In a way, I am blessed to be up in the northeast corner of County Down, because what's going on here, and we do have some iPass activity up here, but it's nowhere near as bad as it is in the areas that I've been, and a limited amount of areas that I've seen and been in Cork, for example, or in Carrickmacross, or in Drogheda, or in Dublin. Nowhere near as bad. And that's partially because, technically speaking, we're still UK. Okay, I'm not in the EU. So I'm not in the EU, unless many people that are listening in here, not unless you're in the EU. And a lot of people, let's be honest, who would love to see a united Ireland say, well, I don't want to be part of the EU. Well, you're still going to be in the EU, But anyway, yeah, I'm kind of in a good position up here, but that could all change. That could all change very, very quickly. That could all change very, very quickly. Sean says, yes, keep going. I'm not finishing work yet. What time do you finish work at, Sean? Are you on the night shift? Or what are you doing at the minute? Anyone else working out there? A few people have said that they're working. James Hogan, before you go, it's been great. You're off to bed. Yeah, all the best to you, James. Thank you very much for listening in, and God bless you also. And anyone else too. It is getting a bit late. Maybe some of you are past your bedtimes and you need your beauty sleep and all that. So feel free to check out anytime you want. John Parr says, I'm all for the anti-government, anti-immigration protests. However, when I see Putin masks in the crowds, I feel the national movement loses credibility. Do you think this is on purpose? Yes and no. Okay, yes and no. And by that, John, what I mean is, with a big protest, any big protest, you will not be able to completely police it or steward it exactly the way that you want to. You just won't. There'll always be someone maybe that pulls out a dodgy symbol, or that waves a dodgy flag or a rainbow flag, okay? And the cameras will zoom in on that. They will zoom in on that. And that will be the focus. So, for example, someone with a Putin mask in the crowd, that's what people will zoom in on. They'll forget about the other 98%, 99.9% of people that don't have that Putin mask on, and they'll zoom in on that one person. Now, that person could be an agitator, that person could be a agent provocateur, or it could just be someone that's taking the mick, or it could just be somebody that, for example, loves Putin. So, yes, I don't feel it's on purpose most of the time, although there are still people out there that like to antagonize, and that they're paid to go into crowds to cause disruption and to take away from the credibility of large protests. So yes, John, I believe sometimes it's malicious, and other times it's just people that could be maybe a little bit drunk, or they could just be maybe trying to make a point or getting themselves a name for themselves that we talk about maybe on live streams because they're wearing a Putin mask like we're doing right now. Paul and Christ said, "Rise up, Ireland. You're under a full-blown invasion by globalist elites funding all this. Take Ireland back." And yes, the amount of money that's being sunk into this, folks, is unreal, coming from all over the place. And that's the thing. They are not short of money. And when you've got the money, you can advertise, you can run the NGOs, you can pay for counter protests, as we have seen. So yes, they're well funded and they are still game. They're well funded and they're still game. Lady of Era is in here. I don't know if you've just joined or not, but you're welcome anyway. Let's see. Keep going, please. Yeah, you're still at work, Robert, although my throat is starting to dry up a little bit. I hadn't planned on talking for an hour and a half, but here we have it. I still have a lot of recording to do tomorrow morning as well. Let's see. Do you know Michelle has invited loyalists? Well, she has, although I'll be honest with you, I can't see any going. That's just a fact. I don't see, well, but then again, maybe they will. I don't know. Apparently it's an open hand, an invitation to everybody from everywhere, of all faiths and backgrounds and political persuasions. So yeah, it's her thing. She can pretty much do what she wants. If you're behind it, go and support it. If you're not, don't. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure that any loyalists would show up to a government protest in the GPO marching to the Dáil to dissolve the Irish Parliament. I just don't see it. Okay, but then again, I could be completely wrong about that. I suppose if they can, they're free to do so. Let's see what else we've got here. Am I single? No, I'm not. I'm not single. I am very happily married for just over 25 years now. Can you believe that? And yeah, so I'm not single, unless my wife kicks me out somewhere down the line or bashes me with a frying pan. I'm going to probably still be taken for the foreseeable, unless it's terminated from the other side of that door. Let's see. Lady of Era says, I will be at the GPO tomorrow, but not to support Michelle, but to support Wake Up Era. Well, that's another thing. You know, no one owns the streets, despite the chant, whose streets are streets. No one owns the streets. No one has a monopoly on any movement or can really dictate who does what. So nothing to stop anyone going along to any protest or any gathering. In your case, with motivation to support Wake Up Era. So go for it. Go for it. Get out there and show support for those people as well. Who else is on here? Fair play, Lady of Era. I didn't realize Wake Up Era are there tomorrow. I'm not sure if Mouse is still in there. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Are you live? Yeah, so I'm not sure if anybody is live streaming this tomorrow, by the way. Leave a message in the chat because that's another thing. So many of these things are streamed live, but the main people that do it would be maybe the like of Philip Dwyer. Check his Twitter page. That's the only thing he streams out on. Check out Philip Dwyer _MOI. That's his Twitter handle. If he's in town, he'll probably be streaming that. I don't know any other streamers. But if you do know any, leave a message either in the chat here or after this live stream finishes. Leave a message in the actual comments underneath this video, and maybe some people will pick it up on the replay, and they'll be able to see where they can watch this protest tomorrow on a live stream. No problem, Frank. Frank Lennon's heading to bed. Emerald Isle's housebound would love a live stream. Well, like I said, Emerald Isle, if I get footage of this tomorrow, if I can glean a little bit of footage from a few live streams, I'll put it together probably in a video about this, and you'll be able to check it out. But if not, check out Philip Dwyer _MOI on Twitter if you use it, or sign up for it just to get an account that you can watch this stuff for free. Okay, so you can watch that stuff for free. Mousy is live streaming. That's not the mouse that's in the chat here, by the way. That's a different mouse. It's a very lovely little mouse in the chat here tonight. Mousy, I've seen that name, but I don't know who that is. So that's true. Emerald Isle, there you go. Look up Philip's live stream, or else somebody called Mousy, Mousey, probably will be live streaming it too. Derek Mousey, lads, says Chris Byrne. So there you go. Derek Mousey. Shout out to Derek Mouse. Go and check him out. And there you go. Derek Mousey. So I'll take your word for that, Chris. That's who's doing it. Mouse says Derek Mousey as well. So if you know him, Mark, then that's good enough for me. So check out Derek Mousey. So there you have it, folks. That's probably as good a way to end it as any. The protest tomorrow, whether you're going or whether you're not, whether you support it or whether you don't, it should be live streamed on there, and we're going to find out whether or not the Dáil is overthrown by this time tomorrow. I tell you what, it never ends, and it's only a what? Is it a Monday night? Yeah, it's Monday night tonight. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Still tons of stuff to get through this week. Tons of stuff. So I'm going to go and wet the whistle, and then I'm going to get some fresh air, and then I'm going to think about sleep, and then I get to rise up tomorrow by the grace of God and do it all over again. So anyway, everybody, all of you who have taken the time to come on the chat here tonight, leave a lovely message here tonight. It's been a really great session. Really, really great session. Completely unplanned, but sometimes they're the best ones, aren't they? You don't really need the plan. And if you've got the people and you've got the material to work with, then you've got everything you need. Gloria Houlihan Sláinte. Yes, good night to you folks as well. And God bless each and every one of you. Check my channel tomorrow. There'll still be content coming in. Who knows exactly what it'll be, but there'll be more content tomorrow. So I'm going to wrap this one up. I wish you all a very good night's sleep. Or if you're listening in from America, probably a nice afternoon. Or if you're listening in from Australia, you're probably asleep. So anyway, for all of you, thanks very much. This is me, Rick Munn. No risk, no reward. Over and out.